Hello. I want to just come on here today to just discuss um, the reports. Report season has just occurred. Whatever time you were watching this, just apply it to your own life. But reports have just come out, and I just want to help you as the parent navigate, and also the student navigate what this means, how to handle reports, good and bad. Okay. Um, so first things first, let me just explain how the reports actually work, and then we can get into how do you cope? How do you cope with good reports? How do you cope with bad reports? Okay. So number one, I don't like mid-year reports. Okay, term one reports, term two reports, and term three reports mean absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. The reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, at the end of the year, it's marks. These marks are referred to as a weighted average. Now, what is a weighted average? The weighted average is where you have various components, but each component counts a certain percentage of a percentage. Every single subject in grade 10, 11, and 12 is out of 400 marks, essentially. And each component is then counts a percentage of those 400 marks. And then those 400 marks then get recalculated into a percentage because the word percent, for every, per means for every, and then cent means 100. So it's for every 100. Ergo, 9 out of 10 is 90%. Why? Because we've converted the 10 to 100. Slap a zero on the 10, slap a zero on the 9, 90%. Okay. Now, a weighted average is a sneaky little thing. And I like weighted averages. They use this at universities, at schools, anyway, pretty much anything that has got marks and results where you are being reported on at the end of the day. So you have raw data, and then you have data that has been manipulated, data that has been manipulation is not always a bad thing. Okay, like discrimination is not always a bad thing. Um, that you learn in assessment and evaluation, you learn in statistics, you learn in anything that has to do with people and things and concepts. Okay, not always does a word mean negativity. But anyway, so a weighted average, um, a, a easy one is you have subjects that have like business studies, history, life sciences, anything that does not have a PAT element, and anything that is not a language or life orientation, because all those subjects are weighted differently. Subjects like business studies, economics, life sciences, the reason why I don't like reports throughout the year is because term one is calculated like this. The test is 75% and the task is 25%. And that's how you get your percentage. But let's say, for instance, in the third term, you have like English or you have Afrikaans. 100% of the mark is the task mark or task/test because they only have one assessment in the third term. And that is 100% of the mark. But the thing is that in the grand scheme of things, that task or that test only counts 2% out of the entire year's mark. It counts something like 5% of 25%. So mathematically, you'd say 5 divided by 100 times 25. Trusty calculator. Let's say it counts 5%. So 5 divided by 100 times 25, it's 1.25% of the year. Okay. So essentially, let's say, for instance, they got 20% for a task, but the task only counts 5% of the year. 20% of 5 is only 1. It's 1%. But remember, that's 1% out of the 100. It's not out of the 25. And then yeah, so it's a whole process that occurs behind the scenes. It's not a thing of like, oh, my child got 20% for this task, ergo they're going to fail. No, 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 no. I've seen cases where kids have gotten they failed term one, they failed term two, they failed term three, and they go and they knock it out in term four with that final exam that counts 75% of the mark. unless it's a PAT or languages, but I'll explain that now. So the final exam for business studies counts 75%. You can bomb out term one, term two, term three. You can fail. You can get 0%. But at that final examination, that counts 75%. If you go and get 100% for that final exam, that's 75%. You understand? So it's like you walk out with a really strong B average. I mean, what is a 75% at a university is classified as an A. In many cases, a 75% one can argue is an A plus. Technically, it's like 2% lower, but it doesn't matter. Okay, it counts. So that's the reason why I'm not a fan of term one, term two, term three reports because they mean very little in the grand scheme of things. Yes, term one can argue that because the test counts 75% and the task counts 25%, that can indicate as to how the weighted average can perform. Yes, 100%. And that's why we do look at them, but it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. You can have an amazing term one report and then completely bomb out in term two. Why? Because term one work in many cases is actually the previous grade's work. Let's say, for instance, you're doing business studies. Yes, it is it is grade 11 work, but they do use a lot of grade 10 concepts, like the micro market and macro environments, because they speak about that. But that's grade 10 knowledge because it's grade 10 foundations, but is being assessed in grade 11 because it is a qualification. Please remember that it is a qualification. Grade 10, 11, 12, it is not school. And I think that having grade 8 and 9 and grade 10, 11, 12, having two separate phases in the same building, say for instance, like your mainstream schools, I think is absolutely doing a disservice to what the qualification actually is. Grade 7, 8, and 9 is known as general education and training phase. They should actually be in one building, grade 7, 8, and 9. But the fact that we're splitting them up, grade 7 and then grade 8 goes to a completely separate building and a completely separate way. It's like, but it's not, okay? They are too young to be thrusted into an environment like that. And that's why a lot of the times the girls go and they get groomed, or the boys, all the boys. The bullying occurs, this, that, because too big for their boots. Grade 9s are the most awful creatures on the planet. Individually, love them to birds, have a lot of time for them, but as a group, hate them, drop a bomb, just they're evil incarnate. Okay, like I've never ever come across a group of grade 9s that I actually like, because once they come together, they've got that group think mentality, and it's just chaos. But what's nice is that when they get to grade 10, they get knocked down a peg or two, which I think is brilliant. And then grade 11 is my favorite grade, and then grade 12 is just a nightmare. It's just so much pressure and so much stress, and it's just they get marked at a much higher standard, and it's just, oh my gosh, especially the distance education students. It's just, oh, it's very stressful, and to a certain extent, it's actually extremely unfair. But yeah, so like I said, the weighted average is very important to understand because let's say, for instance, your child goes and gets a 50% average for term two. It does not mean anything. It doesn't mean anything because none of the PAT marks have been calculated in, because the PAT marks are only at the end of the year, because the PAT counts as the final exam. So you have your final exam counts 75% for subjects like business studies, etc. But when it comes to subjects like tourism, consumer studies, engineering, graphics, and design, anything that has a PAT element, CAT, IT, the PAT counts 25% of the 75%. So that means that the final exam only then counts 50%. So if you have one exam, it counts a full 50%, tourism, consumer studies. But in the case where you've got subjects where, say, for instance, there's two final exams like CAT or engineering, graphics, and design, CAT, computer applications technology, of in Afrikaans, rekenaartoepassingstegnologie. All one word, fun fact. Anyway, wow. It's a very, very, very long word. Anyway, um, the final exams, because there's two, it's 50% divided by two, which means the final exams only count 25% each. Where the languages work slightly different. The orals are only calculated at the end of the year, and that is at 12.5% of the 75%. Where the final exams, the creative writing counts the most, at 25. Where the final exam for the creative writing counts 25%, that is the bulk of the mark. And then, well, it's not the bulk of the mark. It's not the bulk. I mean, calm down. It's not like, but it is a quarter of the year, where depending on the level of your language, whether it's a home language or first additional language, the literature and the language, but the one counts 20%, but the other one counts 17.5%. And then that's how you get your 75%. Life orientation works completely differently. The June exam, don't bomb out the June exam because the June exam counts as much as what the final year exam counts. And I know everyone's like, oh, life orientation is such a stupid subject, whatever. Okay, then why aren't you getting 100%? If it's a stupid people subject, then no, there is no such thing as a stupid person subject in grade 10, 11, 12. It doesn't exist, okay? Because it is assessed at a NQF2 grade 10, NQF3 grade 11, NQF4 grade 12. So it is assessed at an international standard, okay? It's called the National Qualifications Framework, and it aligns with the international standards. So everyone's like, oh, we don't recognize those African qualifications. Yes, it's because you're a racist, okay? Sorry, but it is what it is. But when it comes to stupid people subjects, stupid people, I don't really think anyone's really stupid. I just think that you have talents that aren't aligned with what you're being assessed with. But anyway, stupid people subjects then drop out because there is no such thing as a stupid person subject, and that's always the catch. Life orientation, in my opinion, is a fantastic subject because it's community psychology. It's just psychology in general. So a lot of industrial psychology concepts are in there. It's political sciences, and you do touch on a little bit of economics, and it's sports sciences. So I think it's a fantastic subject. I just think that because because ignorant people have strong opinions, it's just taken on a life of its own. All right. So that's why I say when it comes to reports, don't put a lot of stock on term one, term two, term three. Understand that it's just a way to calculate the results so that you can get, in the meantime, feedback. That's it. Look at it like that. Where are we going? So, for example, it's like a map. It's a roadmap, and understand it like that. But let's get into like why what you should slash what you shouldn't as a parent, specifically how you should handle these things, because understand that they are only going to be children for a couple more years. Most of your children, I mean, they stop being children at 15. Okay, anything over 15, in my opinion, is, and this is my professional opinion, anything over 15, you are looking at um anything under 15, one can argue that it's the parents that come out of their mouths. They technically are not really cognizant of the fact that they have responsibilities and okay, it depends on your parenting style, I guess. But when it comes to grade 10, 11, 12 specifically, when it comes to anything over 15 years old, which includes grade 9, I believe that that's when you start becoming responsible for yourself. That's when you start um, actually being able to understand, like, you have a life journey, you need to start taking things seriously, and that is what school does assist you with. I'm not a fan of mainstream school, but I am a fan of the fact that there are lessons embedded into the curriculum, and that is what I am all for. My entire company is based on skills and skills development. I do not teach. I'm a counselor. I'm not a teacher. I don't have any qualifications as a teacher. I'd rather die. I'd rather poke my eyes out with a plastic spoon than do that job. That is the most ungrateful, thankless, awful job I can imagine. It's not just standing up and inspiring people through education and knowledge and learning and helping them navigate life. It's not that. It's not that at all. My job is that. Um, and that's why I went into counseling, and that's why I went into psychology and education, education counseling, um, education psychology, because that's what I love doing. I love inspiring children, and I love helping them out of very difficult circumstances. Like, I don't see, why must I try? I don't see the point in trying, because every time I try, I don't do well, and this happens, and these are the consequences. And I absolutely love helping people navigate the treacheries of life. But as a teacher, oh gosh, please don't make me set up papers. Please don't. Just please don't. Oh my goodness. My parents were teachers, and my aunt was a teacher, and I have family members. And it's just, why would you want to do that to yourself? Like, it's not worth No, no, thank you. The entire system needs to be reassessed because those poor people, I have not met a single person who has gone in hopeful, who has come out not bitter. I really haven't. It's just, it's an awful job. So don't degrade me by calling me a teacher because it's just why, like, I respect the people, I respect the profession, but the work itself, the abuse that you suffer, etc., etc., like, please don't. Just, I'm not, I want nothing to do with that. But yeah, so how do you actually get into um 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 um, um. I'm gonna start off with, do I start off with the positives or the negatives? I always like starting with negatives and then ending off positively. But I think let's start positively and then end off with how, let's inspire and then educate. Let's not attack and then uplift. I think that's a nice strategy. All right. So the first one is focus on the bigger picture. That's what I was saying. Essentially, what you are looking at is a map of what's going on inside of your child. It's not a reflection of their value. It's not a reflection of their self worth. It's not a reflection of anything, really. It's just telling you where we are at currently. At the end of the year, yes, that is um, more significant because before grade 12, it's a thing of, do you get promoted or do you not get promoted? I don't like the word passing and failing because failure, it's just got such a strong connotation attached to it. And I'm like, but it's not failure. You're not failing. Yeah. Focus on the fact that, like I said, that they're not going to be children for much longer. You've got to look long term. You've got to look at how are these marks going to affect them long term. Getting 100% for something great. It's awesome. It's fantastic, but it's not the be all and the end all because usually the kids that get very high marks in terms of their school reports, they do oftentimes score very low on other things like resilience, for example. They don't know how to fail. That's why there's this one book. Don't I haven't read it. I literally just saw it on someone's bookshelf and I just did some research into it. But the book's title was something like Why A Students Work for C Students. And it's purely and utterly because C students have that thing of fail, get back up, fail, get back up, fail, get back up. An A student doesn't have that. They don't have that tenacity because it's never been developed inside of themselves. The next one is ask open questions, 100%. It's not an attacking thing. There are different types of questions. Closed questions is like your dicot type questions where it's like yes, no, male, female, up, down. There's only two answers and then that's it. Where open questions, it's inviting conversation. Most times I do find that the parents, you don't talk to your children. One of the points is going to be lecture. You don't talk to your children, you lecture your children. You don't spend time with them and get to know them as people, which most of them are actually really nice children. And the ones that aren't are just hard done by and lost, and no one's willing to take them and just say to them, look here, this is what love feels like. Come with me, let me help you. Because yeah, sometimes the culture just gets to them too much and or abuse or whatever, and sometimes they are just a little too far gone. Um, but in most cases, they're actually very nice people. And I really think that if you just sat down and got to know them as a person and not as an extension of yourself, I do think that you would be very impressed with their character and who they are. Together in a group of their peers of their age with one supervisor or whatever, it's awful. They're awful creatures, but individually they're actually really sweet. So ask open-ended questions, how do you feel about how you did this term? Because a lot of times a kid will be like, I don't think I worked very well. I do think I slacked off a lot this term. Um, and yeah, I just don't know how to. Like I am trying, but I put my efforts in, but they never yield results. Let them say that out loud. Let them explore that. Um, how do you think the exams went? No, the exams didn't go very well this term. Well, no, the exams went very well this term. Okay, cool. What can we learn from this? How can we move forward from here, good or bad results? Because a lot of the times I find that with the bad results, it's a lecture, it's a scream, it's a shout, it's a I'm disappointed, you're useless, you're pathetic, why am I wasting my money on you? Okay, that's usually when it comes to bad results. When it comes to good results, there's this overwhelming praise, and a lot of the times they don't know how to cope with that because it gets to their head. Now they got a big head. Now they this, not that, and it's just. And then you get those arrogant individuals. Almost use a very bad word. Those arrogant individuals, and it's just like you just want life to like knock them down a peg or two. And I believe that I was. I believe that that was me. But anyway, yeah. So ask questions. Be inquisitive. At the end, okay, wait. Let me just continue. I'll get to that. Okay. Praise effort, not outcome. Did you apply yourself? Yes or no? Regardless of what the mark is. I have seen some people put in so much effort and they can't ever get their marks above 30%. They really can't. And I work with them, and majority of the time, the kids using my programs, they jump up 10, 20, 30% in most cases. But then there are a lot of cases where it's like there's just that thing holding them back, and unfortunately a lot of the times it is the parents reactions. And it's not just, when I say parents, it's not just like you bad parent naughty. It's not that. It's more a thing of it's more a thing of authority. Okay, people who hold a higher place in where they compared to where they are. So praise effort, not outcome. The reason why I'm very nervous about praising outcome is because, say, for instance, you get one of those types of children who everything just comes naturally to them, in the younger grades, and they don't have to work because they're just naturally clever, and then they get praised because, oh, look at you, so bright. Oh, look at you, so clever. Oh, look at you, so wonderful. Oh, my intelligent baby. Oh, you can do no wrong. The amount of pressure that that child is under is absolutely insane. And the word potential is just, I use it as well. I do. But the word potential is such a bad word to use because it's like, oh, but you have so much potential. Yes, but what happens if I don't achieve that potential? What am I then? But then what happens is those people, specifically boys, they then go and they never learn how to actually work. They never learn resilience. They never learn um, fall down, get back up. They never learn that tenacity. And then all of a sudden, one day, the work starts getting a little bit harder and they don't know how to work because now all of a sudden, they're not getting the 90% like they were, where they just rocked up, 3 words at a page, got 90% and were praised. Do you see why, in my opinion, it is such a toxic thing to do? And you are only setting the child up for failure. Another thing that I'm not a fan of is parents will say, parents, grandparents, whatever, you give money for results. I don't like that at all. I don't. It's too much negativity. I've seen way too much negativity, and long term, it doesn't yield good results. Yes, initially it does. Maybe what you can do is, yes, definitely give them money for A's, but don't let them know, or let them know that there's something going on, but don't hand them money if, say, for instance, they do get good results. Because I know it sounds like a brilliant concept because it does, on paper, but in reality, I have seen where kids are like, it's too much. It's just too much. Now I'm not going to get money because then they tie their worth to money. They tie good marks to money. They don't tie it to effort. They don't tie it to skills that are innately within themselves. So long term, I don't see very good results coming from bribing. And yeah, I just don't. Okay, discuss practical steps. Like yeah, discuss practical steps. I like this one. Essentially, what you are saying is that it's time to showcase skills. Now, you as a parent, you are someone who, you are the leader. You're supposed to showcase how to maneuver through life. And if every single time something goes wrong, it's always a freak out, end of the world, let's find who to blame instead of going, okay, cool, like things obviously didn't work out according to the plan. Okay, so let's just readjust the plan. No, 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 no. Let's not do that. Let's climb into the person. Let's scream and shout at the teacher or whoever did the bad marking or not the bad marking, the marking of the bad paper, the bad assessment. Um, and just the whole blaming thing, just stop. Just absolutely stop. It is just one of those things where what are you doing? Like you are teaching your child that if anything goes wrong in their life, it's not their fault. It's everyone else's fault but their fault. And have you any idea what the long-term consequences of that is? I do because I've literally had that in my space where I've had people react negatively to bad marks. And I'm like, dude, like genuinely, why are you freaking out? All that needs to happen is that the child just needs to drop this habit and just pick up this habit. We just need to train the habit, and then everything will be like the marks will improve, which is true because I've done it so many times and I've seen it so many times. This is the issue. I found the issue. This is the issue. Work on this specific thing. And yeah, inevitably the marks do increase, the self-esteem increases, self-confidence increases, and then also the willingness to apply themselves to learn new skills because they've got this thing of like, oh, if I up my skills, my marks then increase. Okay, so let me focus on my skills, and then let's see what happens from there. And inevitably the the result is always more positive. But no, let's scream and shout and swear, let's blame, let's point fingers, let's attack, let's insult, let's lambaste, and let's climb into the kid. Why? It's just stupid. Like, stop doing that. So, carrying on, it says time to showcase skills. You are, like I said, you're the parent, you're the leader. You obviously have got talents, you have got abilities, you have got ways of maneuvering through life, through strategizing, through, okay, so obviously this didn't go according to plan. How do I go from here to, how do I rectify what happened? Because obviously you might have a job and part of your job is project management, for example, and that is your job. Your job is crisis management and figuring out a plan and then every single step going and going, okay, does this plan work? Does this plan work? Does this plan work? And that's essentially what you need to teach your child. But no, rather scream and shout and lambaste because that's a lot easier than going, oh, okay, so this is a teaching moment. This is a learning opportunity for my child. And one thing that I learned, it was actually from How to Get Away with Murder. Whoop! I have a cat, just my heart. Um, How to Get Away with Murder, absolutely dead and dying, especially the first couple of episodes of the series. But Professor Keating, she is a law lecturer, and she turns around and she says to this person, "You never steal a learning opportunity from another person." And when I heard that, my entire life changed. The way that I work with people changed. The way that I handled myself, the way that I handle every single mountain in front of me was with that. Never steal a learning opportunity from someone else. And another thing that I also learned from Jordan Peterson is that don't do for someone that they can do for themselves, especially when it comes to the elderly and children. Okay? Because you are taking away their autonomy, you are taking away the ability for them to learn, for them to strive, for them to try. Okay? Teach your kids how to do their own washing. No, but they're not going to do it properly. Then let them do it badly. Allow them to figure it out, teach them, and then say to them, okay, this is now your problem. My parents, the best thing that my parents ever did for me, and in the moment, I was very upset about it because, I mean, obviously, like I'm now expected to perform, and I wasn't very happy, and I was also quite young. But I think it was like 12 years old. It was like halfway through grade six. My parents, they sat me down. I came back from camp, and I used to do like survival camps and stuff when I was younger. Loved it. Definitely put your kids into it, especially your girls. Boys, 100%. I mean, obviously, but especially the girls as well. Okay, like the things that you learn, the discipline that you learn, it's absolutely fantastic. And I can't recommend it more. It's yeah, just do that. But anyway, so I came back from the survival camp, and my parents sat me down, and they were like, "Okay, cool. So your life is your responsibility now. We were thinking about it. We want you to just become the best version of yourself. We're not going to help you with anything. We're not going to tell you what to do. We're not going to monitor your marks. Pass, you fail, you go work." I've had bursaries well, not my entire life. I've had bursaries since I was in grade 3. So my marks, my effort, my sport was basically what paid for my education. But my parents definitely assisted me in getting those bursaries and in helping me um, not have to being able to actually, strive for something. And when Yeah, I mean, I sat down that first day that I had to do my own assignment. They put me down in front of a computer and they said, "Have fun, bye." And I cried and I tantrumed and I went off so badly because I was like, "Wah," and no one came to save me. No one. And I was like, "Okay, cool. So I've got due dates. I've got things that need to be handed in. And if they don't get handed in, I'm not going to do well. And if I don't do well, I'm going to, yeah." My parents were like, "We're not going to pay for you. If you're not going to take things seriously, we're not going to pay for you. So pass, you move forward, you progress, and we will support you however we can." And yeah, I mean, definitely, like, come to us, speak to us. We will help you as much as what we can. But yeah, if I didn't do well, it was my responsibility, and I had to figure it out. So yeah, so I just took up the mantle, and I just applied myself, and yeah. Okay, cool. So the skills that you can teach is problem solving, anxiety management, compassion, especially self-compassion. Okay. Okay, so you bombed out this paper. Not good. Not good at all. Oh, wow. That's a really, really, really bad mark. Be with them in the reality of the situation. That's not a good mark at all. And then allow them to respond and allow them the silence to be able to think and then come up with a strategy that they can apply. And not one of those things of they jump to I had a client like this, one of the most awful people I've ever met in my entire life. And I don't say that about clients. When it comes to clients, it's very professional. It's very I don't have personal opinions because I've seen everything, and everyone is just a normal human being. But that person, I definitely, there's a special place in hell for that man. Um, but this idiot just this jump and just we are going to do, and it's like, that's not going to work. No, 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 but we will do this, and end of story, and I've said, and it's like, yeah, okay, fine, but it's not going to work. It's not going to yield the results that you want to yield. So he goes off on his tangent, and he blah, 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 and then here's me just coming from behind, just going like, just do XYZ, just just do this, and the results will come. And then the child listens to me, does it, and then this man then thinks that, oh, it's because of what he now said, and it's like, no, you're just an idiot, just go away, you're wasting my time. But anyway, but definitely self-compassion as well is a thing of like, okay, cool, so you had a bad result, sit in it, feel it, it's awful, it's not nice, but that is what's going to get you off your ass, and actually try. Okay, sometimes the best thing that can ever happen to a person is a bad mark. That 30% or that 12% or that whatever percentage, that mark is what's going to get them to work, because that's an embarrassment. But let them understand that it's an embarrassment. Let them come to the program by themselves. Let them realize that they don't like that feeling. Don't go and now add on your resentment because now your child is not being who you want them to be, because that's never going to work anyway. But don't add that on, because then that negative feeling they're going to associate with you, and it's going to build resentment. So what you do is you say to them, like, how do you feel about this? Let them understand. I don't this is not a good feeling. I hate this feeling. Okay, cool. Good. You're on the right path. How do you propose we are going to use we statements. We are here. We support you. We love you. We believe in you. If you pass, you pass. If you fail, it's fine. We're not going to love you any less. But don't lie either, because a lot of you do love your children less because they are not this perfect reflection of yourself. Terrible. Keep calm and stay connected 100%. Okay. Don't do the silent treatment. Don't block yourself off from them because now they are not who you want them to be. Now you're now rejecting them and you are doing such long-term damage. And yeah, once again, the consequence is that they're going to resent you. And the day that you die, they're going to be like, oh, thank God. It's not a reflection on you or their self-worth. 100%. It's got nothing to do with you. Just take yourself out of the equation completely. Oh, you're embarrassing me with your marks. Then why are you telling the world the child's marks? It's got nothing to do with you. It's their report. It's not your report. Stop showing their report. It's theirs. Look at it, go, oh, okay, is that where we are? And then move on with your life. And if they want to show people, it's their report to show. But no, now let's go name and shame. Let's go and put the report out there for the entire world to make a laughing stock of this child. Or even worse, they have a good report. Let's go and show the entire world this report. Let's go and put it out there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like that is so unfair. That is absolutely so unfair. Okay. If they want to go and brag about their marks and their reports, let them, it's theirs. It's not yours. Don't take on something that does not belong to you. Okay. And also their self-worth. It's not a reflection of their self-worth. I have had thick papers. I've had very bad, very bad papers in my life. Oh my goodness. Okay. And we're not even going to talk about them because like they were the best lesson that ever happened to me. But yet on the other side of the coin, like I'm still affected by it because I'm like, my word. And like performance anxiety is a real thing. It really is. Okay, but it's not a reflection of my self-worth. I am still a good person. I am still a kind person. I'm still a person who deserves to breathe the same air as you. I just had a bad paper because my skills were shite. And then also model resilience, 100%. This is your opportunity to show them what your character is. And you screaming and shouting and lambasting them and climbing down their throat and blaming the entire world. And it's unbecoming. It really is. It's absolutely, I love you to bits. I don't know you, but I love you to bits. It's pathetic. Okay. And stop being pathetic. Like, you are an adult. Start acting like the fucking adult. Excuse my fucking language, but like, you're the fucking adult. Like, start acting like it. Just, oh my gosh. Okay, but anyway, so what do reports actually mean? Yes, I covered that. It's a snapshot. It's not a prophecy. I like that. Okay, I saw that when I was just like researching. I like just having like bullet points because I do very well when I've got a prompt and then I just speak from a prompt. If I just have to speak for the sake of speaking, it's very difficult to give structure the brains. Okay, so it's a snapshot. It's not a prophecy. Sometimes the most successful people are the ones that drop out of school. Sometimes the most successful people are the ones that did not get even a C for matric. I mean, they like just scraped through. But it's because in a lot of cases, your child is being assessed on something that is not a talent of theirs, something that's not a skill of theirs. And now all that you're doing is you're basically saying to this person, like, you are now lesser of a person because you are not being judged on things that you are good at. You are being judged on something that you're completely bad at. Just imagine your entire life up until a certain point is you being judged on something that is not a skill of yours. No, there's no people skills. There's no assessing, like say, for instance, people skills, sales. That person will make an amazing salesperson. And especially if you have commission-based sales, potentially you do have the ability to make a lot of money. Okay, bank, like, oh my gosh. Like estate agencies as well, where you go and you sell houses. People skills, you need that, but school doesn't assess you on people skills. But let's say, for instance, that is like your top skill. You are always going to be inferior because you're not being assessed on a standard. The maths as well. I hate the concept of mathematics at a school level. I hate the debate of math versus math lit. I think that the entire conversation is just warped. It's stupid, and I am going to be addressing it at some stage. I just need to I need to deal with my internal frustration, resentment, hatred, annoyance, because I can't handle stupid people espousing things that they have no idea what they're talking about. Oh, you got good marks for maths. Calm down. Okay. There's more to life than one plus one equals. Okay, like please, you know. But anyway. So yeah, so it's a snapshot, it's not a prophecy. It's not something that it's not going to tell you where your child is going to end up. Sometimes people peak in high school. Okay. Um, but yeah, let's go with things that we should not do. Um, I mean, at the end of the day, you're an adult. You will do whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to help you not damage your kid more than what they are being damaged. Like it's it's your job to prepare your child for the real world. Yes, 100%. But you don't have to break them down before the world gets to them. Food for thought. So, advice that I would give you if you do want to actually help the situation, you want to help the kid navigate the situation, and you want them to come out as being the best version of themselves, whatever that may mean. Don't compare. The worst thing, one of the worst things that you can do is, yeah, I just wish that you were like your other sibling, or yeah, look, this person got a good report. Why can't you? Yeah, immediately, as soon as someone does that to me, and I mean, I believe I'm a pretty well-adjusted person in majority of cases. Um, I think that I've grown well, and the minute that you do something like that to me, boom, I shut down. Don't talk to me. Why? I'm a disappointment. I'm this. I'm that. Why? Oh, this person did so much better than you. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Okay. Create competition. Competition is good, and I love competition, but healthy competition. Oh, so and so beat you. Cool. I'm glad. Well done. How did you do it? You see, so what is the point? What is the point of doing that? The point is that you're trying to break down the kid. You think that you're inspiring them, but you're not. Okay. You're breaking them down. And yeah, I don't think that that tactic is a very good one. Okay. The next one is don't catastrophize. I have to have another hysterical parent on the other side of the phone, carrying on like a 2-year-old, throwing a temper tantrum because where your child wrote an exam and bombed out. Just calm down. I mean, like I said, allow them to bomb out, so that you can see where the problem areas are, so that you can address the problem areas, so that you can cull it. And that's why the kids do so well within my programs, because I say to the clients, like, just calm down. Just let's see what the child produces. And then let's go in with a fine tooth comb and let's go and figure out how to maneuver through this. And they listen to me and great stuff. But then you always have that one unstable person who's just like, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Your child got 40%. Calm down. Just, oh my goodness. Like, seriously. Even if they got 0%, just, okay, cool. 0%. It's telling us that the child should not be doing the subject. It's telling us that 20%. It's telling us that there are problem areas. Yeah, but my child got 100% last term and now they're getting 20% this term. Yes, and that's telling you exactly what the problem is. Okay. And I know most of you don't believe in mental health. Okay. Sure, not a problem. But how many of your coworkers have off themselves? How many people do you know who are struggling with depression? How many people do you know who are, and those are the adults. The kids are also experiencing the same thing. This culture is not conducive for health. It's not. Okay. This culture is breeding autoimmune diseases, it's breeding mental health problems and struggles. Everyone has depression and anxiety. Yes, it's because everybody should have depression and anxiety. We should not be living like this. And anyone who says that we should is a psychopath, and we don't listen to psychopaths. The only people who should be coping in this society are narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, crazy people. You guys are crazy. Okay, it's 2025. I can say whatever I want. Don't jump straight to lectures. Yeah, it will fall on deaf ears. They will not listen to you. They will get their back up against you. It is not going to work. Okay. And so many times I've had clients say to me, yeah, but you must cut the child out. Yes, that's your strategy. And obviously your strategy doesn't work. Okay. My strategy is give them enough rope, let them hang themselves metaphorically. Okay. Please, not literally, ever. Don't. You don't get to quit. You're not a coward. Okay, give them enough rope. Let's see what's going on. And then let's put scaffolding in place so that we can show this child how to get out of the pickle that they're in. Because at some stage, they're going to be in a pickle. They're going to have problems. But no, we have to wake a child up at 5:30 in the morning, drop them off at school at 7:30. They have to sit in a war zone for hours per day. Then they have to, sorry, my headphones are falling. Then they have to um, this, that, the next thing. They have to kill themselves to be able to cope in a system that's not designed to produce health at all. Okay, it's not at all. Life orientation is the best that they actually like. Bleh. What are you doing? You're not thinking. You're not thinking long-term consequences. Long-term consequences is immediately as soon as you start lecturing, you're never going to get the result that you're looking for. My strategy is, like I said, let's see what's going on and then let's identify specifics. So, for example, I recently had a client that I was talking to, and this child genuinely 100%, I believe that this child just gave up. It's a thing of like, I'm just going to coast. I don't care. I just want this to be over and done with. I'm not going to fail. It's impossible for me to fail because it is. I don't think that that child's going to fail at all. But I turn around and I said, I'm like, it comes across as if you think that you're going to waltz into a high paying job next year with a 40% average for matric. And you are just going to, and they're just going to beg for your opinion, and they're just going to say, internationally, the youth unemployment is sitting at staggering rates in every country. And please understand that youth classifies as anybody under 35. I'm under 35. You are I'm your competition. And I am way more qualified than you. I am way more experienced than you. And I have just developed an entire way of like working through, etc. And you think that you're going to compete, and I'm not even the most qualified person. I'm not even the most successful person out of all the under 35s. What's that, 30 under 30 or 40 under 40? Okay, I want to be one of those, but like I'm not. And you think that you're going to waltz into a high paying job and everything's just going to, no, you're going to become a packer, you're going to become a this, you're going to, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, every job, calm down. Most jobs are important. Okay, we need packers, we need tellers, we need this, we need that. But your potential is university professor. But what are you producing? You are producing way underneath, you know, and hopefully that is going to get them to realize, okay, wait, I need to start taking this seriously, because school doesn't only teach you um because school doesn't only teach you content and stuff like that. It teaches you other things. And that's what's in the marks. Okay? That's what the marks tell you. The person who gets 100% for maths and physics, but gets 40% for life orientation, that screams who the person is. And that's why when you hear someone say, yeah, I applied for so and so with my marks, and my marks I was getting 100% for everything, and they said that I wasn't competitive. Yes, it's because your English and your life orientation mark is pathetic. So you're not competing. Okay. Yeah, I got 100% for maths and physics. Yes, but there's more to life than good marks in two subjects. The next one is don't bribe or threaten, especially excessively. Okay. I'm gonna take this away from you. Or or you can get them on the same bandwagon as you and get them to see. I'm an advocate for gaming. I have no issues with gaming. I do think that there should be heavy restrictions surrounding the gaming. Yes, okay. This thing of like every single day just sitting behind the computer constantly, yes, 100% that is doing damage. But gaming every so often, having a Saturday night with your friends online and sitting and gaming until the next morning, I see nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't. Depending on the game as well. Yes. I mean, obviously, we're not stupid. Okay. We are talking in general. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with gaming. I don't. A lot of their friends are online. Let them have that. Stop trying to be. There's nothing else for these kids. They can't go out. They can't go here. They can't go there. There's no places. There's no spaces for them. Okay. It's all been shut down. So what are they supposed to do? Sit on the couch and just breathe? Well, chances are that won't even be good enough for you anyway. So just, okay, anyway. Okay. Don't bribe. Don't bribe. Let them feel, let them sit in the discomfort of, I don't like this emotion. I don't like feeling like this. Don't link bad marks to you losing your shit constantly. Okay. Because they will never, ever going to take it seriously if that is what they equate it to. Bad marks equal uncomfortable feelings. Okay. I don't like this feeling. How do I not feel like this again? And when I do feel like this again, how do I cope? And then don't ignore the warning signs. A lot of the times, if you see marks that drop from reasonably well and just across the board, boom, and it's just this, it's telling you something, especially in matric. Matric does have the highest suicide rate out of all the grades. It's bad. It is really bad. The pressure that is on these kids is just absolutely terrible, and my heart breaks for them. I personally have dealt with a couple kids who have where their siblings have committed suicide when they were in matric, and it's brutal. Families break up after that, and it's just it's really sad. And I don't think that it's fair. I really don't. And then also don't make it all about you. Um, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to be straightforward. You want authenticity, here's authenticity. Um, yeah, it's not about you. Yes, you can have this thing of like at some stage, go calm yourself down, come back into the situation and say to them, okay, cool. So just so you are aware, I am funding this and I don't appreciate having to work my ass off and then feeling like you are not contributing from your side. Okay. And it's making me angry and I don't know how to deal with that anger. And I don't want to take it out on you, but this is a very difficult situation for me. And I want to know, how are we going to get through this? Because then you are basically saying to them, I love you, I support you, I'm here for you, but I don't feel like my efforts are being reciprocated. How do we move forward? Because I want to carry on supporting you, I want to carry on, but I'm struggling. And like I say, open ended questions, create a dialogue. You see, because you're not attacking the person, but you are saying to them like, I'm struggling and I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to keep this up. If you are not going to come from your side, how am I supposed to come from my side? And then last but not least, how you handle this becomes their internal dialogue. When they are 35 years old, something's going to go wrong and they're not going to know how to cope. They're not going to know how to maneuver. They're not going to know where to go, what strategies to employ. It's going to be so overwhelming and they are going to crash and burn. And Lord knows what that means. And I hope that that means just, you know, a little bit of a pity party. And, in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, they get back up and they continue with their life. I really do hope that that is the consequence, but it's not going to be that. It's going to be more severe and they're not going to know how to cope. And all that's going to happen is they're going to have this repeat inside their brain. You're useless. You're pathetic. You're a disappointment. No one wants you. Everyone hates you. Why are you even trying? What's the point? And those words that you use, those lectures that you use, what you do out of anger, it's not the anger that's the problem. It's your reaction to the anger that's the problem. And I deal with kids who have anger issues, and many times when they come to me, I definitely assist them in managing their anger issues. Do I help them cure the situation? No, because anger is one of those things of anger is the only emotion that actually protects you. Okay. All the other emotions, they don't protect you. Um, so it's not about anger. It's not about you being angry. You can be angry. It's good to be angry sometimes, but it's how you manage the anger. It's how you deal with the anger. It's how you react to the anger. That's the problem. Okay. But how you handle this becomes their internal dialogue. And that is something that we need to understand. These are not children. These are future adults. These are future taxpayers and future moms and dads and husbands and wives and whatever you want to call them. Okay. Future workers, etc. And I think you are doing a massive disservice to your child by not saying to them, okay, cool. So you've got good marks. This is how you cope with good marks. Or you've got a bad mark. This is how you cope. And help them strategize, help them put scaffolding in place. That's what I do for my clients. And you do see very, very, very good results long term as well. And that's all I want for your children. And for you as well, because some of you really can't keep on like this. It's not good for your own health. It's not good for your marriage. Um, and there are ways and means about it. You're not a bad parent. You're just someone who's struggling to move through something that no one's helping you with. And maybe I can be the person that assists you or not. So I just, yeah, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I've been there myself. I've gotten the bad marks or I've gotten the good marks, and I've seen how poorly I dealt with it. Because it was always a thing of, you know, just had to. I mean, we all just have to figure it out ourselves, and there's very little guidance to show us like what to do and how to maneuver through life. I love the word maneuver. Apparently, apparently. Like that little boy with the apparently, apparently. I sometimes do that, and then I just like anyway. Um, but yeah, it's this isn't an attack. This isn't you're a bad parent. Your child will do better off. No, no, it's got nothing to do with it. It's just purely and utterly a thing of like we have got a serious problem on our hands, and unfortunately, the way that people are coping with issues, it's not conducive to moving forward. And we need to find ways and means of helping this generation. Let's just go with that. Okay. So, once again, good marks. I actually think that people who get good marks, they suffer quite a lot because they don't know how to cope. And kids who have bad marks, I think that they will always have this internal dialogue of what's the point? Why try? You'll always be a disappointment. And it doesn't have to be like that. It really doesn't have to be like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, bye.